puga, ano yung pugad, yung puyat, yung pagod natin, yung panahon na ginugugol natin sa exam, again, let's make it all worth it. Hindi lang puro law of attraction, hindi lang puro law of attraction, manifestation, dapat may action din. Law of attraction plus law of action. Ilaban natin yan. Walang no choice but to move forward. Maying gabi sa inyong tanan. Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. Ready na. Professional education po tayo. We're gonna run through. This time, we're gonna start with question 80 na po. So last time, we ended with 81. I think that was about Sigmund Freud. Number 81 naman po tayo. Again, gising. Focus, mga ma'am, sir. Ha? Sige, pa-comment din po. Hashtag ready LPT. Again, sa mga handa na maging LPT dyan, pakilagay ng hashtag natin for tonight. That's hashtag LPT. Hi, Ma'am Maisel. Hello, Ma'am Bernalyn. Hello, Ma'am Hannah. Maupay na gabi, Ma'am. Hindi ko mabasa. Tayo yung pangalan. Good evening po sa inyo lahat. Anong nangyari, Ma'am Wengski? Baka hindi ka makapag-exam? What happened? Sir Angelo, good evening. Let's go. Ready na? For number 81 pala tayo. Sorry. Balik tayo. 81. Eyes on the board. Eyes on your screens. Kung meron ka, kung kumakain pa kayo, that's fine. You can do multitasking, or kung maraming maingay sa gilid ninyo or sa kapitbahay man yan, maghanap na magandang place to study. Huwag lang masyadong comfortable, baka makatulog ka. Okay? Again, comfortable enough to study, but not too comfortable to sleep. Again, ready na. Number 81 po tayo. Pakilagay muna ng number bago yung letter ng sagot. Again, number po muna bago yung letter ng sagot. Number 81, 45 seconds per item. In 3, 2, 1. Grabe yung energy. Let's go. Ha? Buena mano ba o buena malas? So, mag-overthink ka. Yan na nga, assess. Example of an assessed curriculum. Malamang assessment, and ano bang kasama ni assessment? Assessment and evaluation. Letter A, use of formative evaluations or formative assessment yung pinaka-correct na term dyan. But anyway, sa types of curriculum po yan. Meron tayong assessed curriculum, meron tayong iba't ibang types of curriculum. Assessed, recommended, written, taught, supported, learned, and hidden curriculum. Meron pang null curriculum, But anyway, so sa different kinds of curriculum, saan naman napapabilang yung teaching, lifelong learning? Sige nga, sa anong kind of curriculum naman yan? Teach lifelong learning. Dito ka na nagtuturo. Pakita ko sa inyo yung choices, ha? Baka nakalimutan na naman. Curriculum development to na topic. Saan dyan yung tinuturo mo na? Malamang it's number 3. Taught curriculum yan. Saan naman dito yung letter C? Follow memoranda and orders. Anong kind of curriculum naman yan? Ito yung mga galing sa experts or di kaya galing sa government. Ayun. Galing sa experts or sa government, number 1. That's a recommended curriculum. Yogs. Next, number 3, letter D, provide diverse learning experiences. These are the things that they learn. Ito yung natututunan ng mga bata, that's gonna be a learned curriculum. Yun, run through tayo, ha. Number 1, recommended. It's recommended, malamang recommended by the experts. Or di kaya recommended ng gobyerno. Kagaya ng K-12 curriculum, it's a recommended curriculum. Next, written curriculum. Lahat ng sinusulat mo, like lesson plan, syllabus, or mga works, paperworks, documents, those are all written, part of the written curriculum. Kung gumawa ka naman ng SLM or ng module, then that's gonna be a written curriculum. Taught curriculum, ito naman yung tinuturo mo, yung ginagawa mo sa loob ng classroom. Nagle-lecture, nagpapa-activity, nag-group work. And supported, from the word itself, support, ito yung mga aids, mga visual aids, mga help natin sa loob ng classroom habang nagtuturo tayo. Kagaya ng prints, non-prints, instructional materials. Okay? And we got learn curriculum. Ito naman yung natututunan ng mga bata. Ano yung KSVA? The knowledge, skills, values, and attitude. Or yung cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Baka ma-overwhelm kayo sa mga acronym dyan, ha? KSVA, CAP, CAP. And we get the assess curriculum, yung mga pa-exam natin sa school. Evaluation, assessments, mga quizzes, formative assessments. Lahat po ng yan, assessed curriculum. Hidden curriculum naman, on the other hand, actually hindi siya part ng curriculum, but it's considered a curriculum. Ang example ng hidden curriculum, ito yung wala sa curriculum pero natututunan ng bata sa classroom. Ano yung example ng mga hidden curriculum? Sige nga, magbigay ng examples ng hidden curriculum. Hindi part ng lesson pero natututunan ng mga bata pagpapasok sila sa school. Example, ayun, kapag hindi ka, ano nga tawag nun, kapag, dati, ewan ko lang kung na-experience niyo pa to, kung late ka sa classroom, hindi ka papasok agad-agad. Sa amin, pupunta ka ng flagpole, and around the flagpole, maraming mga damo doon. So, bubunot ka muna ng mga damo, papakita mo kay teacher, saka kami makakapasok. That's because it teaches us punctuality. Diba? It teaches us not to be early, not to be late. That's part of the hidden curriculum. Hindi naman siya part ng lesson plan ni teacher, di ba? Wala naman siya sa K-12 curriculum. Pero natututunan natin, punctuality. Respect as well. Yun. Baka meron sa values education na respect, ano? Pero the best way to learn it talaga is, again, sa loob ng classroom. Kahit walang lesson, matututunan mo paano magsabi ng good morning, gumamit ng po at opo. Ano pa ba? Yeah, mga values, mga attitude, Ma'am Donna Bel and Sir Angelo. Mga hidden curriculum, part ng hidden curriculum yan. Next, number 82. Bet, check natin, buwan naman ba? Number 81A. Number 81. Next, 82. There you go. True about Bronfenbrenners or Eurycological. Remember niyo ba yan? Eurycological or Bronfenbrenners ecological systems. Ito lamang yung tama dito. Tanggalin mo na si letter A. All social relationships are unidirectional daw. Ibig sabihin from child, micro, meso, exo, and then macro and chrono, iisa lang daw yan. Hindi na sila nag-i-interact. Mali. Kasi nga, remember, sa meso system, nag-i-interact yung mga microsystem mo. So, hindi siya unidirectional. Development is controlled by environmental forces. Not really. It's more on social forces, hindi environmental forces. Yeah. It's either C or D. Tama naman sila kasi puro social, di ba? Mali lang si letter C kasi nga nakalagay dyan, little influence. Again, from Bronfenbrenner's ecological system, it talks about your social relationships. Hindi environmental na ecology, yung environmental forces. It's about relationships of social beings. Next, the answer is letter D. Social settings in the exosystem do not contain children. Sa exosystem, sino nga yung nasa exosystem natin? Nandun na yung politics, nandun na yung tawag nito, yung workplace ng parents mo and whatnot. Wala dun yung bata. Ang bata nasaan? Sa ecological system, yung bata nasa gitna. Okay? Wala dun yung bata. And also, ayun lang. Sige lang, Ma'am Hana. Di masyado marinig. That's fine. 82, the answer is letter B. Not D. B. Sa letter B, hindi environmental kundi social. Socio-ecological forces. Anyway, there you go. It's not unidirectional. It's bidirectional. Pwedeng palabas. Pwedeng paloob. And again, hindi little but great influence. Next, number 83. Kaya pa? Number 2 pa lang tayo, ha? Number 83. Oh, where is it? Gising, gising, gising. Christina is almost asleep when she felt the need to go to the bathroom. She tried to sleep it off, but after a while, she was forced to stand up, go to the bathroom. What theory of motivation explains Christina's behavior? Attribution theory, drive theory, expectancies and values theory, Solomon's opponent theory. Diniscuss ko to dati sa inyo, yung mga theories of motivation. Oh, ha? Sige. Ang tamang sagot ay yung naka-red. Letter B, drive theory. Because there's a need. Kaya mo ginawa kasi kailangan na kailangan. Kaya mo na-achieve ang isang bagay kasi kailangan na kailangan mo siya. Kaya nga sinabi ko sa inyo dati, yung drive theory, for example, kung ang motivation mo is based on drive theory, motivation mo sa exam, gustong-gusto mo ma-exam, mapasa yung exam, need mo na talaga ipasa yung exam. The activation of a need will let you pass the exam. So, mas maganda na yung resulta kapag need mo na talaga. Okay? That's drive theory. Kagaya nung kapag gabi na, gusto mong umihi, tapos ayaw mo pa, kasi nga gusto mong matulog na lang, but then your body really needs it, that's why you achieve the goal of going to the toilet. That's what we call drive theory. Yun. Ang Solomon's opponent theory, it's about opposite emotions naman po. Let's talk about motivation. Doon tayo sa mga motivation theory. Again, ang expectancies naman and values, nakalagay dito, if you expect success and value what you're doing, then you have higher chances of winning. Higher chances of, let's say, passing the exam. Again, kung nag-expect ka na magsasucceed ka, and then you value, you show it na magsasucceed ka. Hindi lang nag-expect palagi. Vina-value mo din yung pagre-review mo, binibigyan mo talaga ng effort, binibigyan mo ng worth. Then you will pass the exam. Doon naman tayo sa attribution theory. Ano ang sabi dito? Kapag success ka, step by the step, kapag successful ka, usually, ina-attribute natin sa sarili natin. Kapag nag-fail naman tayo, ina-attribute natin sa ibang tao. But for it to become, or for you, example, to pass the exam, mas maganda na you learn how to attribute it to yourself. Both success and failure must be attributed to yourself. That's it. That's theory of motivation. Pamilyar? Oha. Paki-SS 123 321. Number 84. Ay, nako. Kung hindi mo ma-remember yan. Vygotsky's theory of learning is best known as blank. Patay. 84. Ala, baka malito kayo kay A at saka kay C, ano? Di ba, yung kay A, itong social learning approach, ito yung kay Albert, yung social birth learning theory natin. Social learning theory ni Albert Bandura. Si Vygotsky naman, letter C, social constructivism approach. Asan yung theory ni Lev Vygotsky? Letter C. Paki-SS po. Now, kay Vygotsky's theory of learning, ito yung scaffolding, Vygotsky scaffolding, ika nga. Palagi nating dinidiscuss. Last time, I think, nag-discuss din tayo ng MKO. Kung ma-remember nyo, MKO's ZPD, ZAD, ZAD, bakit ZAD siya? ZPD, Zone of Proximal Development, and so on. Lev Vygotsky po. Social-cultural learning theory or social constructivism approach or theory. Again, number 84. Dalawa yan, ano? Pareho na naman ang ibig sabihin. Social-cultural or social constructive approach. Number 84, letter C. And by the way, hindi po behaviorist si Vygotsky, ano? Si Lev Vygotsky po kasabayan ni sino nga yung isa pa? John Piaget, ng mga cognitivist. Si Bandura, siya yung behaviorist. Si Vygotsky, we consider him as cognitivist. Number 85. Curriculum ulit tayo. CurDev, curriculum development. I think kay Coach Weng itong curriculum development, ano? Traditionalist view, basahin ha. Curriculum a traditionalist's view curriculum in a different perspective compared to progressivist. Para hindi malito, pag sinabing traditionalist, ito yung mga parang mga boomer. Ito yung mga traditional mag-isip pagdating sa curriculum. Ang mga progressivist naman, ito yung mga nag-change. They accept change. They accept progress. Which among the following is true about them? Number 85. Number 85. Ayun lang. Nagkalituhan na. 85. Letter A, traditionalists state that the main function of curriculum is training of the mind. Does that sound traditional? Dapat tinitrain daw yung utak at saka utak lang. Or dapat head, hand, and heart. Is that traditionalist? Or progressivist daw, set of cognitive experiences. Kapag progressivist ka ba, utak lang or cognition lang yung pinapairal? Or kapag progressivist ka, knowledge-based lang ba dapat? Saan dyan yung tama? Again, alam naman natin yung pinagkaiba ng traditional at saka progresibo, no? Kapag traditional, they only focus on training the mind. So letter A is correct. Mali si letter B kasi si letter B that's progressive. Si letter C mali din kasi that's traditional, hindi progressive yan. Si letter D, again, that's also traditional. Cognitive-based, knowledge-based, training of the mind, puro utak-utak lang. Walang hand, walang heart. Walang affective, walang psychomotor. That's a traditionalist. Traditional curricularist. So mga traditional mag-isip. Anyway, number 85, the answer is letter A. Ito po, example ng mga traditionalists na mga curricularists. First is si Robert Hutchins, di ba? 3 R's, permanent studies, yung hindi na nagbabago, reading, writing, and arithmetic palagi yung focus ng studies. Next, si Arthur Bestor naman, yung intellectual training, that's training of the mind. Joseph Schwab, discipline, and Philip Phoenix naman yung knowledge plus discipline. Discipline, Hindi disiplina pagdidisiplina ha. Discipline as in a subject. Like, example, teaching is a discipline. Nursing is a discipline, you know. It's a topic, a subject. That's it. These are traditionalists. Number 86. Oh, ZPD ha. Na-discuss na natin yan. Ano yung ZPD? Kung titingnan mo yung ZPD, ito yung mga bagay na hindi kayang gawin ng bata mag-isa. Kasi nga, mas mahirap. So, yun yung purpose ng ZPD. Ito na yung mga situational, ha? Diniscuss na natin yung topic. Doon naman tayo sa mga situational. Kapag ZPD, kailan mo gagamitin? Ma-achieve lamang ng bata or magagamit mo lamang yung ZPD kapag mas mahirap yung ituturo mo sa mga bata. Again, letter C. The task is more difficult than what the child can do alone. Baka malito kayo kay letter D. The child needs little or no help. Ibig sabihin, kapag kaunting help lang or walang help na kailangan yung bata, hindi na yun ZPD. That's gonna be ZAD. Diba? Sa ZAD, ZAD siya kasi mag-isa siya. Kaya na yan mag-isa, ang ZAD, Zone of Actual Development. Kasi nga, hindi naman mahirap. Nadadalian lang yung bata. So, hindi niya kailangan ng help or kaunting help na yung kailangan niya. Pero kapag zone of proximal development, dapat mas mahirap. Ito yung mga hindi nila kayang ma-achieve unless may tulong. So, the answer is letter, ang bilis letter. Number 86, the answer is letter C. Ito yung mga task na mahirap na hindi nila kayang gawin mag-isa. Yan pala yung alone. Zone of actual development. And meron din tayong isa pang ZPD. Baka malito din kayo. May isa pang zone of potential development. ZPD din siya. Pero ang zone of potential development, ang pinagkaiba niya sa proximal development, ito yung kayang gawin ng bata na may tulong. Proximal development. Ang zone of potential development, ito yung kahit tulungan mo, hindi pa rin kayang gawin ng bata. Okay? That's the zone of potential development. Kahit anong tulong, hindi kayang gawin ng bata yan. Hindi talaga appropriate pa sa kanila, maybe. Hindi lang hindi mahirap, kundi hindi talaga appropriate. Number 83. And ito naman yung last time, MKO and scaffolding. Scaffolding is the help, MKO is the helper. 87. Transfer learning theory. Oh. Now, Marco excels in adding numbers. He learned this skill in his math. He is now able to apply this skill in his music class. What type of transfer was used? Same topic, pero ibang sitwasyon. Again, same topic, but a different situation. We call it generalization actually. Yung isang skill, kunyari tinuruan ka ng isang skill tapos pwede mong gamitin sa kahit anong bagay, we call it generalization. Isang skill lang, pero sa kahit anong bagay pwede mong gamitin. That's letter B. General transfer po. Letter B. Oh, review ulit natin yung iba't ibang transfer learning types of transfer learning. Again, ang lateral transfer, able to perform, parang horizontal. Able to perform a new task about the same level. Same level lang. So basically, gagamit ka lang ng isang skill for the same task at the same level. Again, horizontal lahat, same lahat. Ang vertical transfer naman, able to learn more advanced skills. Paakyat naman to. So dito, pareho lang ng topic, pareho lang ng learning, pero iba na ng difficulty level. Next, specific skill transfer naman. A specific skill, fact, or rule is applied to a similar situation. Ito naman, namimili ka lang ng skills na ita-transfer mo. Hindi mo ginagamit lahat ng skills, pero specific skills lang. That's why we call it specific transfer. Kunwari, tinuruan ka ng scientific method. Tapos, yung kinuha mo lang na skill or is yung identifying the problem. Ginamit mo sa math. So that could be, again, a specific transfer. General transfer naman, yung skill na yon ginamit mo sa ibang situation. So na-generalize mo na siya. Iba't ibang situations na yung pwede mo paggamitan ng skill. Anyway, that's letter B, general transfer. Okay, SS pala nito. Learning theories natin. Lateral, horizontal yan. Vertical, pahirap ng pahirap. Specific transfer and general transfer of learning. Number 88. Ito. Sige nga. Anong stage yan? Again, ngayong gabi, ang dami nating mga situational questions, ha? Wendell can understand that her mother can also be a daughter and a sister, all at the same time. Saang level na or saang stage na si Wendell? SPCF yun, di ba? SPCF or SPCOFO. Sensory, pre-operational, concrete, and formal. SPCF or SPCOFO. 88. Sige nga. Saan yan? Dito, alam na nila mag-isip, mag-reason out, maghanap ng connections. Yeah, pwede na sila mag-maths. Kasi nga, alam na nila yung logical reasoning, critical thinking. Tamang sagot? Tapos na pala. Letter C, concrete operational stage. This is the third stage before reaching the highest stage. Anyway, so tingnan natin yung concrete operational. Again, we get SPCOFO. SPCOFO. Sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, formal operational. So here, they are already, as a concrete operational, they are already able to solve concrete problem in logical fashion or analytical na sila. And sa formal naman, doon tayo sa sensory motor muna. Of course, from the word sensory and motor, use of senses and motor skills. So they use sensory organs and muscles to become more functional. Movements are primarily reflexive, mga bata pa to. Babies, 2 years old or toddlers. Now, again, imagine dito sa sensory motor, they just do play. That's how they learn. Hindi mo pa pwedeng turuan ng logic or ng reasoning yan kasi nga, they only learn through senses and movements. And next, pre-operational. Isa sa mga pinaka-keyword talaga ng pre-operational is preschool. Okay? Pag nakita niyo yung word na preschool sa question, that would be pre-operational. Again, preschool, pre-operational. Dito naman, pwede mo na sila turuan ng symbolism. Like images, language. You can even start with numbers kasi that's also a symbol. Pero hindi yung mga concept, yung mga addition, subtraction. Just show them symbols. They can point out things, mga tawag nito, sight words, mga ganon. Yung hindi pa nila alam paano i-spell ang ball, pero alam na nila na tawag dyan ball. They use symbolism to represent and understand various aspects of environment. And again, that's for preschool, pre-operational. And then we get to concrete operational. It's more concrete, ibig sabihin, hands-on pa rin yung learning nila. They learn how to be logical, but not as independent as formal operational. So kumbaga, kung sa concrete operational, kapag may mga estudyante ka, pwede mong turuan ng logical na mga maths and whatnot, but you have to give them examples. Sa formal operational, pwedeng kahit hindi na. Pwede mo lang bigyan ng mga problems that they can solve on their own. And sometimes they can also create their own problems. Kasi nga, that's the purpose of abstract reasoning. Okay, sa abstract reasoning, ito na yung kahit bigyan mo lang sila ng libro, kaya na nilang mag-isa. Kahit wala ng hands-on na learning, pabayaan mo na lang sila. That's formal operational. And dyan na po tayo. Tama po ba? Nandiyan na ba tayo lahat? Formal operational. That's the highest stage. Last stage. Cognitive development theory ni, kaninong theory to? John Piaget's cognitive development theory. Number 89. Ito, magandang topic to. 89. Mr. Lorenzo would always give the chapter test on a Friday. So alam ng mga bata na every Friday may chapter test. What schedule of reinforcement is used by Mr. Lorenzo? Again, what schedule of reinforcement is that? And look at the word used. Reinforcement. Test is a reinforcement. Yes, it is. Kasi nga, kapag tinitest mo yung bata, mas nare-reinforce, mas pumapasok sa utak nila yung tinuturo mo. Anyway, number 89. The answer is letter. Is it fixed or variable? Again, fixed ba siya or paiba-iba? Yan naman yung ibig sabihin ng fixed at saka variable, di ba? Fixed ba siya or hindi? Fixed. Again, it's always on a Friday. So it's a fixed reinforcement. Ang tanong na lang ngayon, is it interval ba or ratio? Ayun lang. Ang tamang sagot po ay, final na ba yung A? Bigyan ko kayo ng second siya. Number 89, the answer is letter A. Fixed interval. So alam nyo na, ibig sabihin ng fixed at saka variable, di ba? Ang fixed, again, alam mo kung kailan it's fixed, hindi pa bago-bago, unlike variable. Kailan naman gagamitin yung interval? Kailan gagamitin si ratio? So basically, basta ratio, letter R, it's about responses. It's not about time, hindi yung interval, parang bus lang, Di ba sa mga buses may interval? Because it's about time. Ang ratio naman, it's about responses. So example nito, gagamitin mo yung fixed ratio kapag, again, predictable or fixed yung schedule, and it's based on responses. So example nito, magbibigay ako ng reward. It's about reinforcement. Magbibigay ako ng reward kapag meron ka ng 3 tamang sagot. Okay? Every time na makatama kayo ng 3, bibigyan ko kayo ng reward. That's fixed ratio. Pag variable ratio, hindi mo talaga ma-predict si teacher. Kasi sometimes pag nakatama ako ng 2, meron akong reward. Pero sometimes pag nakatama ako ng 5, wala naman akong reward. So that's variable ratio. And you can also use that para hindi masyadong nakadepende sa price yung bata. Next, doon naman tayo sa fixed interval. Ang fixed interval naman, again, it's about time. Predictable yung time. Kagaya nung kay Mr. Lorenzo. Fixed siya kasi nga it always happen. Alam mo kung kailan mangyayari. And it's about time. Friday. That's an amount of time. Every Friday. Predictable, so it's fixed, and it talks about time, so it's about its interval. Variable interval naman would be surprise quiz. The best example would be surprise quiz. Bakit? Ang surprise quiz, is it fixed? Hindi. Paiba-iba yan. Hindi mo alam kailan darating yan. That's variable. And also, because it's surprise, hindi mo alam kung kailan yung oras, that's gonna be interval. Variable interval. Surprise quiz. And pwede bang gamitin yan? Yes. Kasi nga, para malaman mo kung prepared ba yung mga bata. Surprise quiz is still a good form of reinforcement. There you have it. Now, pag sinabi naman ni teacher, check na natin. Pakilagay sa comment section, is this, teka lang. Is this fixed ratio, variable, FR, FI, VR, or VI? Okay? FR, FI, VR, or VI. Pag sinabi ni teacher na, pag may mga bata na maingay, 3 beses na nasulat sa tawag nito, sa noisy list. Pag 3 beses nang nasulat yung pangalan mo sa noisy list, may punishment ka na. Ano tawag doon? 3 beses nang nasulat yung pangalan mo sa noisy list, kaya may punishment ka. Is that FR, FI, VR, or VI? Sige nga. Pag 3 beses nasulat yung pangalan mo sa noisy list, may punishment. Is it fixed or variable? Sige nga, is that fixed or variable? It's actually fixed. Kasi nga, every time, as long as 3 beses na, so alam mo kung kailan mangyayari yan. A pen, let's use a pen. So that's fixed. Now, is it ratio or interval? It's about your behavior. It's not about time. Again, it's not about behavior. It's about, it's not about time. It's about behavior. It's about your responses. Behavior mo yan sa klase. So it's gonna be FR or fixed ratio. There you go. How about pag sinabi naman ni teacher, si teacher, nagbibigay ng star sa mga notebook namin as long as meron kaming tamang sagot. Again, as long as merong tamang sagot, kahit ilan pa yan, magbibigay ng star si teacher. Sige nga. Kahit ilan pa yan. So kahit may 5 ka na, kahit 1 pa lang, kahit 2 pa lang, may mabibigay sa'yo na reward si teacher. Sige nga, is that fixed variable? Walang basis si teacher, no? So it's not fixed. Paiba-iba ng utak si teacher. So that's gonna be variable. And also, it's based on your right answer. So behavior pa rin yan, hindi pa rin yan oras. That's going to be variable ratio. Paiba-iba, then it's about your behavior. It's about your responses. Kung kahit ilang beses ka nakatama, that's variable ratio. Pag sinabi naman or na-observe ni student na, alam mo, si teacher, every 5 minutes nagbibigay ng reward. Again, si teacher, napapansin ko every 5 minutes nagbibigay siya ng reward. So ano yan? Fix FR, FI, VR, or VI. Pansin ko si teacher nagbibigay ng rewards every 5 minutes. That is, hinihintay ko yung sagot niya, medyo matagal kasi. May lag. That would be, pansin daw nila, so napipredict na nila, di ba? It's gonna be fixed. And also, it's every 5 minutes. So it's not a ratio, it's not about behavior, it's about time. Again, that's gonna be fixed interval. FI naman po yan siya. Fixed siya kasi alam mo every 5 minutes nangyayari. And dahil nga 5 minutes is a time, that's interval. FI ang tamang sagot. Anyway, number 91. 90 pala, 90. Sorry. Number 90, FI. Naintindihan po ba yung mga natin, schedules? Reinforcement and punishment schedules. Pa-click ang like react o ang heart react, mga ma'am sir. Naintindihan? Proceed tayo sa number 90. Who is considered as the father of modern educational psychology? Educational psychology, hindi lang psychology. That's letter A. Yun, ang galing. Edward Lee Thorndike. Kapag psychology lang naman, that would be William Wundt. Tama ba? That's for psychology. Pero balik tayo sa educational psychology kasi Prof. Ed to. Edward Lee Thorndike. Yogs. Psychoanalysis, si Sigmund Freud. Ano pa yung mga theory ni Sigmund Freud? Pakilagay nga sa comment section. Maraming theory, maraming study si Freud eh. We get psychoanalysis, psychosexual, mga defense mechanism, sa kanya din yun. Different personality traits natin. Anyway, that's Sigmund Freud or Simon Freud. Kay Ivan Pavlov, anong theory ni Ivan Pavlov? Oo. Anong theory ni Ivan Pavlov? PCSO, Pavlov, classical, Skinner operant. Kay Pavlov yung classical conditioning. Anong hayop yung ginamit ni Pavlov? Oo. Anong hayop ginamit ni Pavlov? That's Pavdog. Dog po yung ginamit niya. Yung naglalaway. Si Jean Piaget naman, that's CDT, Cognitive Development Theory. Jean Piaget. Number 91. Alam nyo na yan, number 91. The answer is letter. By the way, kay Edward Lee Thorndike, that would be modern educational. May educational pa. Educational psychology. Number 91. Si Lara, magaling sa sports, magaling sa dancing, magaling magaling sa paggamit ng kanyang bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Letter A. Kaninong theory yan? Multiple intelligences. We got 9 intelligences. Kay Howard Gard, 9 intelligences. Howard Gardner. 9 multiple intelligences. There you go. Natanong, kapag politiko ka, sa ano dapat yung dominating na intelligence mo? Sige nga, pag politiko ka. Pag politicians, ano dapat yung dominating na intelligence? Could be, should be interpersonal, right? Social. Dapat magaling kang makihalubilo. And I think another one would be verbal linguistic. Magaling mambola. Magaling mangako. Magaling sa pananalita nila. Magaling manalita. Magaling sa pananalita. Interpersonal and verbal linguistic. Si teacher. Sige nga. Si teacher, mga ma'am, sir. Mahirap, no? Teacher ka tapos intrapersonal yung dominant mo. It would be interpersonal as well. Interpersonal. But I think as a teacher, lalo na kapag elementary teacher ka, or elementary school teacher ka, dapat lahat, naturalist ka, mathematical, musical, visual, lahat talaga. Lalo na kapag ina-assign ka, wala ka dapat pinipili. Anyway, so that's Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences. Howard Gardner. Okay. Next, number 92. Again, puro tayo situational, Alam mo na yung topic, but the question now is, how do you put it into context? Pag tinanong ka, ilagay mo sa situation. Kailan tinitest yung students' prior knowledge? Oo. Alam niyo na yan. Sa isang lesson plan, kailan mo chine-check yung lesson mo last time? Yan yung prior knowledge ng mga bata, di ba? When do you test? Okay, yesterday we did. That's during. Sakit na yung bunga ko. That's during letter B, review. Again, number 92, that's letter B, during review. Yuks. Sige, sa kanilang apat, sino yung pinakaunang nangyayari? Sa apat na yan. Assignment, review, generalization, post-assessment. Sino dyan ang nauunang nangyayari? Meron tayong review, di ba? And pagkatapos ng review, sinong next? That's the first one. Sino dyan yung next man na ano? May mas-skip kayo, pero sino sa kanila yung mauuna? Assignment, generalization, or post-assessment? Sino mauuna dyan? Malamang, bago ka magpa-assessment, mag-generalize ka muna para malaman mo kung, kung tama ba yung pagkakaintindi nila sa lesson mo. Generalization muna, saka ka magpa-assessment. Last one is assignment. Kasi ang assignment po, it's optional. It's not necessary. It's only optional. That would be the last one. Okay? Review, generalization, post-assessment, assignment. Sige nga, let's run through your lesson planning, ma'am, sir. Sa pag-run through ng lesson plan, anong pinakaunang step? The very first step in lesson planning is to identify your lesson objectives. ILO. Intended learning outcomes or lesson objectives. Pagkatapos ng lesson objectives, saka ka anong next? Pagkatapos ng identifying lesson objectives or intended learning outcomes. Objective talaga pinakauna, no? Kasi nga outcomes-based education. Understanding by design. Backwards design. Pagkatapos mong ma-identify yung objective, saka ka huwag kalimutan ang preliminaries. Prayer, attendance, checking of homework, ano pa ba? Cleaning up, checking of attendance, checking of homework, prayer, lahat ng preliminaries na hindi part ng lesson. Preliminaries muna. Saka ano mauna, review or motivation? Oo. Mauna si review, saka mag-motivation, and then do your lesson. Pagkatapos ng lesson, generalize it, assessment, and then assignment. There you go. Easy peasy. Number 93. Konting review sa lesson planning. Saan dyan yung pang higher level skills or HOTS? Anong sagot dyan? Pang HOTS C. Okay. Higher level, HOTS. Saan dyan yung pang HOTS? Noting specific details, that's basically remembering. Following directions, pwede mo ilagay sa understanding. Stating the main idea, again, that's just remembering. Next, letter A. Drawing conclusion. Kapag nagdo-draw ka kasi ng conclusion, you're basically making your own conclusion. Di ba? Based on details, information, magdo-draw ka ng conclusion. So that's from specific to general. That's creating. Drawing or making your own conclusion. That's creating. HOTS, yung tatlo, lots naman yung sa baba. RUA, ANEC. Remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, creating. That's a revised Bloom's taxonomy. Again, the answer is letter A. Nice. Number 94. 94. Hey, gising. Number 94. The entire class of Mrs. Gretchen became quiet after Lucy got awarded with 5 stars for consistently behaving well. When good behavior is increased by simply watching the behavior. Anong tawag natin doon? Hindi ikaw yung na-awardan, pero nung nakita mo yung klase mo na may award, natuto ka. At saka nag-behave ka properly. Well, una, tanggalin mo na si modeling because modeling happens with the teacher's help. 'Di ba? According to Albert Bandura, sino bang magmo-model? Alam mo naman yung mga bata. Hindi. Ang nagmo-model yung teachers. Tsaka gagayahin ng bata. And also, it's not direct reinforcement kasi nga hindi naman sila yung direktang naka-experience nung award. Nakita lang nila sa kay Lucy. Kaya ginaya na nila. So that's that direct reinforcement. Direct reinforcement, ikaw talaga yung nabigyan ng award. Pero dito, if you're learning from the experience of other people, we call it vicarious. In this case, dahil nga positive, it's reinforcement. Vicarious rewards or vicarious reinforcement. Last time, I think yung diniscuss natin, vicarious din yun, di ba? Yung nanakawan yung kapitbahay niya, so mas naging secure na yung bahay niya. Natuto siya sa experience ng kapitbahay niya na nanakawan. So, ang ginawa niya, nag-put up siya ng security, mas naging aware siya. That's vicarious learning. And in this case, this is vicarious reinforcement. Okay? Hindi mo kailangang maranasan yung isang bagay para may matutunan ka. Learn from others' mistakes. 95. Basa. Sige nga. So, Miss Bakiran, the V or the values education teacher and her pupils, while working on the concept of honesty, pinag-usapan nila na dapat walang cabinets and bookcases yung malalak throughout the day para malaman talaga natin na naintindihan nyo paano maging honest. Again, sabi ko, modeling, di ba? Ang modeling kay teacher yan nangyayari. Pero dito, lahat sila gagawa. So, that's not modeling. Ha? Next. Hindi din siya emotional experience. It's actually a practical experience. Pag sinabing emotional, di ba? It would be, magpapakita ka ng emotional video or di kaya storytelling. Those are emotional experiences. But this time, hindi lang emotional. Hindi lang to emotional. They're actually doing it. Ang sagot dyan ay letter B. Practicing. Providing appropriate practice. Wala akong nakitang B Number 55, letter B. Provide appropriate practice, not just emotional experience. They have to actually act it. Letter B. Appropriate practice. Number 96. Theories of motivation ulit tayo. This time from Albert Bandura's self-efficacy theory. Sabi ni Albert Bandura sa theory niya, magiging successful ka, mas magiging motivated ka if you think na kaya mo siyang gawin. Again, ang purpose ng self-efficacy ni Albert Bandura is yung end product. Doon tayo sa output straight away. Ang basis nito is letter D, performance accomplishments. Again, ang purpose or ang focus ng self-efficacy ni Albert Bandura is maging self-efficient ka or maging successful ka kapag alam mong kaya mong i-produce yung isang bagay or kaya mong gawin yung isang bagay. It's about your performance. Anyway, so yun. Yun, self-efficacy ito. Belief that one has the power to produce effect. So yung purpose or yung focus mo is your to produce an effect, to perform. Yun. So if you think that you can perform, that you can accomplish things, then you will be able to accomplish it. So parang exam, again, if you think na ma-accomplish mo yung exam, then mataas yung chance na ma-accomplish mo yung exam. That's self-efficacy theory. Just by belief alone. Number 97. Curriculum ulit tayo. According to him, her, a curriculum is cooperative work. Sino nagsabi nun? Hindi si Hilda Taba? Oh, asan yung mga sagot niyo? Hindi din si Ralph Tyler. Ang nagsabi na curriculum is cooperative work is si Mr. Peter Oliva. Sabi niya, yung ating curriculum daw should be, or curriculum change, is a cooperative work. For us to make a better curriculum, dapat nag-work yung teachers, yung experts, and mga students as well, of course. So it's a cooperative work among students, teachers, experts, and other stakeholders. We call it curriculum change, or that's how we achieve curriculum change. That's Peter Oliva. Familiar? Oo. Number 97, letter C. Number 98, sige pa, diretso tayo. Last time we talked about different types of memory, di ba? My short-term memory, my working memory, my long-term memory. Doon naman tayo sa forgetfulness. Forgetting. It's part of learning theory, by the way. Paano nakakalimutan ng bata yung mga tinuturo natin sa kanila? Paano na na-remember? Inare-remember yung mga tinuturo natin sa kanila. So, LSS, or the last song syndrome, familiar ba tayo? Happens when you cannot sing any other songs because a more recent and popular song keeps on playing in your mind. Kagaya ng Golden sa mga, ano ang movie yan? K-pop Demon Hunters. So, based on information processing model, this happens because new information is blocking out old information. Ano ibig sabihin yan? New information, binablock out na ang old information. Dahil may bago kang natututunan, nabablock out na yung iba. Tawag natin doon, letter. Sige nga. Number 98. So, sige, isa-isayin natin. Ang memory decay, it's basically, para sa part of aging. Memory decay or decay theory, you forget through time. Hindi mo siya na-forget because may bago kang nare-remember, but because of time. Nakakalimutan mo lang talaga siya. Ang proactive interference naman po, it's old over new memories. Parang hindi ka nakakapag-move on. So kapag mahirap mag-move on para sa'yo, probably because you have proactive interference. Okay, mas piniprefer mo yung old memories kesa new memories. Ang retroactive interference naman, ito naman yung mga new memories over old memories. So hindi binablock ng old memories mo or yung old information, yung new memories. Instead, piniprefer mo lang talaga. Ikaw talaga yung ikaw lang talaga yung namimili. Next, repression, on the other hand, is when you are forced to forget. So when you are forced to forget, then that's repression. Maybe because of trauma. That's forced to forget. Repression naman po yan. Ayaw mo lang talaga siyang ma-remember kasi pangit siya na experience. Anyway, ang tawag natin dyan ay letter C, retroactive interference. Again, you prefer new knowledge kesa sa old knowledge mo. That's why nabablock out niya yung information. Letter C ang tamang sagot. 98, letter C. Pamilyar po ba? Paki-SS, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. May pa-question mark pa, Ma'am Ishmael. Letter C. Now, ito po yung iba't ibang learning theories. What are the causes of forgetfulness? Retrieval failure, it's this one. Ito namang retrieval failure, para lang siyang biological. Hindi mo ma-remember yung isang bagay kasi hindi mo lang talaga ma-remember. Nahihirapan kang mag-remember ng iba't ibang information. That's it. Makakalimutin ka lang talaga. That's retrieval failure. Ang decay theory naman, kagaya ng sinabi ko, memory decay, it's because of time. Yung mga long-term memories natin, it gradually fades when it's not used. And then ang interference theory, ito yung kanina, forgetting long-term memory due to the influence of other learning. So kapag may na learn kang bago or may natututunan ka, mas pinaprioritize mo yung new learning mo or mas pinaprioritize mo yung old knowledge. It could be proactive or it could be retroactive. But the answer for 98 is retroactive. Yugs, number 99. Oh. I'm performing the minuet. First, raise your heel. It's a dance, okay? Second, make 3 steps. Forward, third step, make a point. Na-discuss na natin itong conditional, declarative, procedural knowledge. Walang domain-specific knowledge, ha? Tatlo lamang yung diniscuss natin. Conditional, declarative, or procedural. And because it shows process, step by step, malamang it's procedural. Tama? Letter D, ha? Gagaling, ha? Letter D ang tamang sagot. Anyway, ito po, ang declarative, something that's on top of your head. Pag sinabi kong 1 plus 1, 2. Ang galing. Again, that's declarative knowledge. Procedural naman, it's step by step. Conditional, it's about giving an explanation. Like, why do you think this is the best answer? Parang essay writing. Kapag nagsumagot ka, then that's based on your conditional knowledge. 100. Preventive discipline. Ayun. Siya yung nag-introduce sa atin ng with itness, momentum, overlapping, smoothness. Yung with itness, yung having eyes at the back of your head. Siya yun. Sino yun? Yogs. Huwag malito, ha? 100. Kilala nyo to. Pag sinabi kong with itness, kanino nga yan? That's from Jacob Kunin. Again, Jacob Kunin, letter A. Mga good classroom techniques sa kanya yun. Pero feel ko mas kilala nyo siya sa with itness. Yung having eyes at the back of your head. To prevent. Dapat preventative, hindi reactive. Number 101. Kaninang umaga pa ako nagsasalita. Tapos puro English. Yung mga bata. English. Tapos may tutorial pa ako pagkagabi. And then meron pa tayong teacher sepi. Buti na nakakapag-Tagalog na ako dito. Number 101. A lot of curricularists pushed for curriculum development and shared mostly similar viewpoints. Ano yung viewpoint na yun? May isang keyword dyan na dapat yung hanapin. Kasi gusto nilang palitan yung curriculum, di ba? Kasi may mga traditionalist. Ayaw na nila yung mga traditionalist na point of view. They want progressive one. Saan dyan yung progressive? Learner-centered dapat. Hindi subject-centered, hindi community-centered, hindi mind-based or training of the mind, hindi focus kay teacher. Again, ang focus na dapat sa progressive curriculum or curriculum development, letter C, it's learner-centered. Ang galing. Ito yung mga ito yung mga curricularist na sinasabi ko. Unang-una si Bobbitt, sabi ni Bobbitt, dapat i-emphasize yung children's need. Sabi naman ni William Kilpatrick, child-centered dapat. Harold Rugg, sabi niya, dapat develop the whole child. Sabi naman ni Caswell, it should be about learners' interest, and so on. Yups. Number 102. Yun yung mga curricularists natin. Yeah. Yes, Ma'am Maria. Kung nag-ESL ka, yun. Tapos yung topic pa namin kanina about giyera ng Israel at saka ng Palestine. Excuse me, Marimar. 102. While administering a quiz, Teacher Jera was able to check the attendance of the learners. Habang nag-quiz, ginawa niya, nag-check din siya ng attendance. Ito yung isa sa mga tinuro ni Jacob Kunin sa atin. Ito yung mga good classroom techniques kung tawagin natin. Some of you might think it's negative, but actually it's not. It sounds negative, pero hindi po. Isa to sa mga superpower ng isang teacher. Example, nagpapa-quiz ka, habang busy sa quiz yung mga bata, pwede mo nang gawin yung attendance. We call it multitasking, or in technical term, overlapping po. Again, baka isipin nyo na ang overlapping negative, hindi po. Nag-overlap yung mga tasks mo, which means you're multitasking. Which again is a good skill to have as a teacher. Tama po ba? 102, letter D. Sa mga nalilito pa dyan, ito. Paki-SS, mga good classroom techniques. Isa na dyan, ito yung mga in-introduce ni Jacob Kunin. Again, with itness, alam nyo na yan, having eyes at the back of the head. Kahit anong nangyari sa loob ng classroom, kahit wala ka pa sa loob ng classroom, dapat alam mo. With itness. Kahit nakatalikod ka sa kanila, dapat alam mo sino yung maingay. Smoothness, on the other hand, ito marami nalilito sa smoothness and momentum. Smoothness, it talks about the parts of your lesson. Dapat alam mo yung una, yung gitna, at saka yung panghuli para may organized fashion. Di ba? Dapat organized ka. Hindi yung, doon muna tayo sa next. Ito pala, next. Huwag ganon. Smooth dapat yung flow ng lesson. Now, ito naman sa momentum, ito yung nakakalito. Kasi yung momentum, it's all about flow of the lesson as well. But not really about the organization. Hindi yung yung una, yung panggitna, yung panghuli. It's still about the flow of the lesson, but it talks about momentum. Parang physics, it's about your speed. Okay? Dapat hindi ka masyadong mabilis, hindi ka din masyadong mabagal sa pagbigay ng lesson. Again, that's about momentum. So, dalawa sila, it talks about the flow of the lesson. Smoothness, about the organization, yung first, second, and third, and last. Ang momentum naman, it's about the speed. Gaano ka kabilis or kabagal magturo. 103. Again, overlapping is not negative. Alam nyo na yan. Again, situational. Kung gagawa ka ng lesson plan, anong pinakaunang question mo? Always go back to your objectives. Ano yung gusto kong ma-accomplish or ma-achieve? Letter C. What do I want to accomplish? Number 104. And sa assessment to, pinag-usapan natin, sino nga mag-a-adjust? Balikan muna natin yung 103. Sino mag-a-adjust? Objectives or assessment? Objective or assessment tool? Ang mag-a-adjust ay si Assessment. Again, lahat ng assessment dapat naka-base kay objective. Sino mag-a-adjust? Assessment, objective or IMs? Sino sa kanila mag-a-adjust? Assessment, objective or IMs? Ang IMs mo, based pa rin dapat sa objective. So lahat ng ginagawa mo sa loob ng lesson, mag-a-adjust sila lahat kay objective. Lahat sila nakabase kay objective. 104. Bakit nag-stop? How do you call a classroom management composed of coping strategies used by effective teachers to stop misbehavior without stopping the lesson? So you stop the misbehavior, you are doing classroom management, pero patuloy ka pa rin sa pag-lesson mo. Anong tawag natin doon? Dalawa lang yung choices, either low profile or high profile. Huwag na yung preventative and non-disruptive. Again, may dalawang types of classroom management techniques. Low or high. Ang tamang sagot dyan ay low profile. So ano yung mga low profile classroom techniques? Example niyan proximal, Kalimutan ko. Proximity control. Yung nagle-lesson ka tapos maingay na yung bata. Nagle-lesson ka, ang ginagawa mo, nilalapitan mo yung bata. Hanggang sa ma-sense ng bata na maingay siya, nilapitan mo siya, malapit ka na sa kanya. So masisense niya, tatahimik na siya. Nag-stop ka ba sa lesson? Hindi. Na-manage mo ba yung behavior na bata? Oo. That's what we call low profile. Ito dapat yung i-aim natin. Low profile lang dapat. Do not stop the lesson. Mag-manage ka ng behavior without stopping the lesson. Ang high profile naman, ito yung nag-manage ka ng behavior but nag-stop ka ng lesson. Example, kapag masyado nang maingay, sabihin mo, Rebecca, ang ingay-ingay mo, kanina ka ba? Maribar. Ikaw lang magturo dito. Those are high profile techniques. Name calling or name calling. Yeah. So yun yung mga high profile. Ang high profile naman, nag-stop talaga yung lesson mo. Okay? Nag-share mo na si teacher, that's high profile. 105. Paki-SS pala nito, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Again, try to aspire to use low profile techniques para hindi sayang yung instruction time. 105. Which psychologists does not belong to the group? Sinabi ko na to kanina ha. Sabi ko, hindi siya isang behaviorist. Saan dyan yung hindi behaviorist? Pavlov, malamang behaviorist yan. Thorndike. Tsaka niya yung law of Ere. Exercise, readiness, and effect. Puro yun mga behaviorist. Robert Gagne, behaviorist din yan. Sa kanya yung modeling, parang kay Albert Bandura, modeling, feedbacking, and whatnot. Isa siyang constructivist at saka cognitivist. Kasi yung theory niya, socio-cultural. Lev Vygotsky. 105, letter D. Isa siyang cognitivist. Hindi behaviorist. 106. Tumakbo ng oras. Ito yung proud ako na kaya ko talagang gawin. Kaya medyo hindi ako gumagamit ng boses palagi kapag nagdidisiplina ng bata. Kasi makukuha mo sila sa tingin. Kagaya ng ginawa ni Teacher Charles. He's just clearing his throat and then looks intently at the erring students. Tinitingnan nila yung bata, no? Hindi siya gumamit ng kahit anong words, ano. We call it signal interference. Sometimes yung ibang teacher gumaganito lang, ano. Hindi gumagamit pa ba sila ng boses? Hindi na. Signal na lang. Or sometimes pinapalo yung yung blackboard. Signal interference din yan. As long as hindi ka gumagamit ng words. Gusto kong magsalita ng mga masasamang words. Signal interference. Na ito yung iba't ibang low profile classroom techniques. Paki-SS po. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Planned ignoring pala. Ito yung kapag nagpapapansin na yung bata. Just ignore him. As long as hindi lumalala, as long as hindi nananakit. Pwede mong i-ignore kasi baka naghahanap lang ng attention. Next, ito naman yung name dropping. Iba yung name calling kanina, ano? Sa name calling, ito na yung nag-stop ka talaga ng klase. Sa name dropping, hindi ka nag-stop ng lesson. Example nito, sinabi ko na sa sample ko, nagmamath ako. Tapos nakita ko si James maingay. Sabihin ko lang, Mr. Josh bought 5 apples and James bought another 10. So pag narinig ni James yung pangalan niya, tapos maingay siya, kakabahan na yun. Babalik na yung attention niya sa'yo. That's what we call name dropping. So hindi mo sila kino-call out. Ginagamit mo lang yung name niya as example. Proximity control, yung lalapit ka. Proximity means distance. Touch control, ito naman yung habang nagle-lesson ka, okay, science is a body of blah, blah, blah. Tapos hahawakan mo yung ulo. Hindi naman. Yung hahawakan mo lang dito, ipapat mo lang or whatnot para bumalik sa yung attention niya. Nag-stop ka ba ng lesson? Hindi. Pero na-manage mo yung behavior. Touch control. Itatouch tapos gumagana. Nananakit na ng bata. Wag naman po. Touch lang. Pat maybe. And yeah, signal interference naman yung non-verbal. Paki-SS na dyan. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Pag na-master mo yung signal interference, mas madaling magturo. 107. Saan yan yung learning to do? Ewan ko na lang Learning to do, manglaway ko eraser. Wala lang wala lang warning. Tatapunan ka agad. 107. Mga ma'am sir, sa learning to do be careful, hindi lahat ng skills practical skills. Okay? Kaya ng letter C, artistic skills. Ang learning to do, we're looking for something na practical, like vocational skills. Kagaya ng letter D, occupational training. Okay? Again, letter D, occupational training ang tamang sagot. Hindi porket may skills, learning to do na kaagad. Artistic skills could be learning to be part of your artistry. Again, itong A at saka B at saka C, mga arts po yan sila. And it's not a practical skill. Learning to do. Letter D. Nag-letter C pala lahat. Number 108. Which of the following is the lowest of effective behavior? By Krathwohl. Kung meron tayong ruwaan ek galing kay Bloom, meron din tayong levels sa objectives based on affective. Meron ding psychomotor actually. Yung Bloom's taxonomy kasi cognitive domain lang yun. Ano naman yung lowest pagdating sa affective domain? Sige nga. 108. The lowest is... Kung meron tayong ruwaaek, meron din tayong RR-VOC. Okay? RR-VOC. And the lowest is R. That's letter A. Responding po. Yun. RR-VOC. Sige, balikan natin. Again, sa cognitive domain, mayroon itong ginagamit na RUA-ANEC. Remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, creating. Sa affective domain, meron din tayong RVOC. Receiving, that's recording. Sa new affective domain, that's responding or receiving. And then valuing, organizing, and then characterization. RVOY yan dati. But anyway, receiving or responding. There you go. Receiving and then responding. Mali pala yung sinabi ko. Receiving and then responding. Pangalawa na po yung responding, hindi siya last. Sorry about that. Again, responding is second, na hindi lowest. Ang lowest dapat is receiving. Pero dahil wala si receiving, responding yung next. RVOC. Receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, and characterization. Next, psychomotor domain naman. Meron tayong IMPAN for psychomotor domain. I-imitate mo and then manipulate. This is about skills naman po. Precision, articulation, and naturalization. Ito yung pinakamataas, naturalization. Yun parang naging second nature mo na siya. Kunwari, matagal ka na nagwe-welding, parang second nature mo na siya, na-achieve mo na yung naturalization. Anyway, pakitake note. RUA-ANEC, RVOC, and IMPAN. 109. So, hindi lang sa RUA-ANEC yan. Sige, number 109. Sino daw sa kanila ang authoritarian? Remember, kapag authoritarian, wag yan. Kasi nga negative. Basta it ends with N, that's negative. Authoritative, yun yung positive. Sino sa kanila ang authoritarian? Authoritarian, siya palagi yung nasusunod. Walang freedom yung bata. A or C? The answer is D. C ang tamang sagot. Parent C. Sabi niya kasi, you should do it my way or else. There's no discussion. Wala. Autocratic or authoritarian. Always the parent's way. Baka C yung ibig sabihin yung C, letter C, a parent C. Letter D po yung sagot, parent C. 110. You can exhibit referent power on the first day of school. Ito yung mga powers of teachers. Ito yung maganda. Powers of the teachers. $110. Pag sinabing referent power, bigyan ko kayo ng clue. Referent, ang mga bata, they can refer to you. Or ibig sabihin, they can go to you, they can refer to you, they can tell you their problems and whatnot. So you have that kind of power. Saan dyan? This is emotional, Comfortable sila kapag ikaw yung kasama nila. Because teachers have that kind of power. Letter B, giving your students a sense of belongingness and acceptance. That's part of our power. Referent power po yan. Anong power naman si letter D? May authority tayo over our students. What power is that? We call that legitimate power. How about letter C? Pinapakita mo sa bata na alam mo yung tinuturo mo. Anong power naman yan? Ito, isa-isayin natin. ARCLER pala. ARCLER. Reward power, coercive power, legitimate power, expert power, and referent power. Na itong reward and coercive, magkadugtong yan. Ang reward power, you have the power to give rewards. Coercive power, you have the power to give punishments. Okay? Reward and coercive powers. Legitimate naman, well, tayo yung parang in loco parentis. Tayo yung legal guardians sila pag nasa school sila. So we have authority. Expert power, alam mo yung pinagsasabi mo. Alam mo yung lessons mo. Yan yung power natin. Kaya bilib na bilib yung mga students sa atin. Expert power. And referent power naman, because we as teachers look like we are caring. So we have that kind of power as well. RCLR, reward, coercive, legitimate, expert, and referent. 111. Kaunting history po tayo. Yeah, expert power is the knower. Tapusin po natin at least until 115. 115. Number 111. Bigyan ko kayo ng clue. Yung K-12 dapat yung pinakabago. Earliest to latest. Number 3 yung pinakabago. Malamang, that's a K-12. And malamang, may 3 lahat yan, ha? Earliest to latest. Now, 111, itong UBD, yung Understanding by Design, ito yung sinabi ko sa inyo, di ba? Understanding by Design, Backwards Design, OBE, pare-pareho lang yan. These are new curriculums. So, bago lang yan, around 2010. Ang NESC at saka NSEC, National Elementary School Curriculum and New Secondary Education Curriculum, 1984 and 1991 respectively. Ang BEC curriculum, kailan ba pinirmahan? Kailan pinirmahan ang K-12? Ala, hindi 2012 ha? 2013. Pero ginamit siya for school year 2012-2013. Okay, wag malito ha. Ang K-12 pinirmahan ni Pinoy noong 2013. Pero ginamit siya for school year 2012-2013. Anyway. Next, ang RBEC naman. Sino ba mga taga-RBEC dyan kagaya ko? It started in 2002. So, ibig sabihin, ang pinakauna dyan, yung NESC at saka yung NSEC. 2 and then 4 and then 1 and then 3. 2, 4, 1, 3. Letter B ang tamang sagot. Oh. 1, 1, 2. Familiar? Stufflebeam's model. The learners and the teachers are part of what? Sige nga. Sagot. Asan yan? That's CIPP. Pakita ko po muna. Ito. Now, sa context, input, process, and product, ito yung evaluation model natin sa curriculum. Let's start with context. Itong context, you will look at the beneficiaries, needs, resources, problems, background, and environment. And we get the plans. Dito papasok yung mga stakeholders, lahat. Actions, dito papasok yung development, implementation, feedbacking, and monitoring. Product evaluation, dito papasok yung impact, effectiveness, lahat ng evaluative practices natin dyan. Now, ang mga teachers, ang mga learners po ay part ng, again, stakeholders. So we are under letter B, part of the input. Letter B ang tamang sagot. Paki-SS ulit. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Number 113. 112, 113. Oh, easy. Other than para teachers, who else are entitled to a special permit? Ang mga para teachers, they can still teach, well, not as a teacher, but at least they can work in the field of teaching. As long as nakapasa sila, meron silang average na 74 and up. Pero sino pa yung pwedeng bigyan ng special permit? Under RA 9293, yung revision ng RA 7836. Sino dyan? Tama. Tama si letter B. Pero tama din si letter C. So, ang tamang sagot ay letter D. Both B and C. Baka nalito kayo ha. 113, tama si A, a person who has gained international recognition, kagaya ni Manny Pacquiao. And at the same time, a person is widely acknowledged expert in his or her field. Kagaya ng, sino nga yun? Yan yung gagawin ata ni, sino yung Olympic gold medalist natin? Si Heidelin Diaz. I think magtuturo siya sa university ngayon. And that's a special permit. Or actually, parang hindi niya kailangan. Number 113, that's letter D, both B and C. Again, excelled and gained international recognition and an expert in his or her perspectives. A respective field of specialization. Last two items. Kaya pa ba? 114. Oh, ito yung mga activities. Oh, ito na yung thumbs up or thumbs down or show of hands maybe. Dito natin malalaman yung mga choices ng mga bata. It's not nomination kasi nga nomination is when you nominate. Wala pang botohan dyan, tama? It's not canvassing. Sige nga. Ang ginagawa lang natin, ginagamit natin yung pwedeng gumamit si teacher ng clickers, thumbs up or show of hands. Usually sa math ginagamit ito para malaman natin ano yung mga preferences ng mga bata. Like, parang lumalabas before election yung kung ilan yung bumoboto or ilan yung possible na boboto sa isang tao, ilan yung, kung sa math naman, ilan yung may gusto ng ice cream, ilan yung may gusto ng pizza or whatnot. We call it polling, okay? Parang, kinukuha lang natin yung pulso ng classroom. Wala namang election na mangyayari. Again, wala ding counting of votes, walang ganon. The only reason we do this or we use clickers, thumbs up or thumbs down, para malaman natin yung pulso ng classroom. What do they want? 115. Last item, mga ma'am sir. Polling. Oh, yan. Bonus na yan, oh. Oh. 115. Bonus na yan. Sige nga. 4D. Ang dami nyo nasagot, 115. Whose stakeholders' role is to regularly monitor whether the teachers under their supervision are still on the right path of targeting the goals and objectives of the curriculum. Sino po yan? Is it the learners, school leaders, parents, or government agencies? Ang galing Sino ba nag-handle ng mga teachers? Alam naman government agad-agad. Meron pa naman tayong school leaders. Hindi din naman parents. Hindi din naman learners. Excuse me. It's going to be letter B. Parang parents din. Ngayon, dahil may tulfo na, may power na yung mga parents. Anyway, the correct answer would be school leaders. Lahat ng mga teachers under the guidance of the school leaders. Lahat ng performances, lahat ng improvements sa kailangan, that's under, again, the supervision of the school leader. Hindi ng mga parent So walang walang right yung parent na diktahan kayo kung paano magturo. It would be the supervision, under the supervision of school leaders. Ayun. Masaya yung ending. Anyway, that's it for our professional education part 6, mga ma'am sir. Next week, I'll be doing part 6 of Gen Ed naman with you guys. Anyway, kung nasaktan pero maraming natutunan, pa-click ang ating heart react, mga ma'am sir. Again, kung nasaktan pero maraming natutunan, pa-click ang ating heart react. Oh. And thank you po, mga ma'am sir, for staying with me. Again, see you next week. I think sa 3rd week of August, I will have Tuesday and Thursday session with you. Bago tayo magsimula ng final coaching. Akala nyo matagal-tagal pa ang exam, Ay nako, ilang tulog na lang. Bawasan pa ng mga araw na hindi kayo makatulog. So ilang tulog na lang talaga. Anyway, thank you. Shukran bong kafi falal. Agyaman ako mga ma'am sir. And see you next week. Enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your